Hey guys, Katie from Katie's Classroom here. Today we're going to be talking about fractions. Yes, I know, the dreaded fractions. Actually, it's pretty simple, I promise. We're going to be talking about adding fractions when they do not have the same denominator. So let's get to it. Here is our first example for finding common denominators. So we're going to be adding 3/4 plus 5/6, and we can't do that until they have a common denominator. Basically, you are trying to find the smallest number that both 4 and 6 go into. Doesn't necessarily have to be the smallest, but it will save you some time at the end of the problem if you go with the smallest number. So, for example, I know that 4 times 6 is 24. And you could do this problem by changing the denominators to 24. That would work. However, you would have to end up simplifying at the end, which is fine. Instead, I'm going to think of all the factors of 4 and all the factors of 6 and see if there is a smaller one. For factors of 4, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, and I could go on, but let's go ahead and see if there's any matching for 6. For 6, factors of 6, we have 6, 12, oh, look, 12. So like before, this would have turned into 6, 12, 18, 24, and 24, like I said, would work, but picking 12 will save you some time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change this 3/4 and this 5/6 so that they have denominators of 12. So 3/4, I changed to the bottom into a 12 by multiplying this by 3, because 3 times 4 is 12. So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. So for 5/6, I took the 6 times 2. That's how I changed the denominator to 12. So whatever I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the top. So 5 times 2 is 10. So make sure you recognize that 3/4 and 9/12 are exactly the same. 5/6 and 10/12 are also exactly the same. And they just look a little different, just like 4 quarters and $1. They look different, they're worth the same amount. All right, so enough rambling about that. Now to add our fractions. So you just add straight across, you add the tops. 9 plus 10 is 19. And then we did all of that work for the denominators, so the denominator stays the same. Then you always check to see if you can simplify, which in this case we cannot. There could be some debate over whether or not we should change this into a mixed fraction. For the sake of this video, we are going to leave it as 19 over 12. So let me show you really quick what would have happened if we would have used 24. Okay, so we would be changing 3/4 plus 5/6 into fractions that have a denominator of 24. So we got that by doing 4 times 6. So I did 4 times 6, so whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 6 times 3 is 18. We multiply by 4 on this side. All right, so now I still have 24 on the bottom. And then we do 18 plus 20. We get 38 over 24. So here I can tell that this is not simplified. Both of these, 38 and 24, are divisible by 2. If I divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, this simplifies to 19 over 12. And you always do need to make sure you do simplify. So both ways will get you the same answer. I just simplified in the beginning by finding the least common multiple. I believe this saves you some time, but definitely saves you the headache of dealing with larger numbers. Let's do a couple more quick examples. So I have 1/8 over 932, and again, I'm just adding, and I need a common denominator. And I can see here that 8 and 32, that 32 actually is a factor of 8. Okay, 8 goes into 32. So this fraction here, I'm just going to leave it, and I'm going to change this one so that it can have a denominator of 32. Well, I know that 8 times 4 is 32. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Now I just add the tops. 9 plus 4 is 13, and I keep the bottom 32. I ask myself, can this simplify? This cannot. 13 is a prime number. Nothing goes into either one of these, making it simplify. So that is my answer, 13 over 32. 5 over 8 plus 3 over 7. So 5/8 plus 3/7 is our next example. I'm doing this one because the common denominator really can only be found by just going ahead and thinking, okay, 8 times 7 is 56. There's not going to be anything smaller than that in this case, like there was for the 4 and the 6. And that is totally okay. So all I did here was multiply this side by 7 and this side by 8. And remember, whatever you do, whatever you multiply by on the bottom, you need to multiply by on the top so that my fractions stay balanced and equal. Then I add the tops. 35 plus 24 is 59, and my common denominator stays. So 59 over 56, and this does not simplify. Again, you could change these to mixed numbers, but we are not going to do that in this video. Now I'm going to give you a problem that I would like you to try. Get something to write with and work this out. Come back after pausing the video to try it on your own. So hopefully you noticed that the common denominator was 22 because 11 goes into 22 twice. So I just had to multiply the 9/11ths by 2 on the top and the bottom. And this became 18 over 22. And I would just leave the first fraction as it was, and you should get 37 over 22. And you can leave this improper. It does not simplify any farther down. So that is the last example I have for you today. Thank you. All right, guys, I hope now that fractions are a little bit easier for you at least. Make sure you're always asking for help or contacting someone like me. I would love to be your math tutor if you're still needing help. Hopefully now math is a little less scary, and thanks for watching. Bye.